How to reduce spending during an economic crisis. In these difficult economic times, it's important to find ways to reduce spending and live within your means. Here are some tips on how to do just that. Ways to reduce spending during an economic crisis. One of the best ways to reduce spending during an economic crisis is to cut back on unnecessary expenses. This might include things like eating out less often, going on fewer vacations, or cutting back on your entertainment budget. It's important to focus on your essential needs during a time of financial difficulty, and non-essential items can be put on the back burner for now. Find cheaper alternatives for necessary expenses. If you need to cut costs but still maintain your current lifestyle, try finding cheaper alternatives for necessary expenses. For example, if you normally eat out for lunch every day, see if you can brown bag it a few days each week. Or, if you have a gym membership, try working out at home instead. There are usually plenty of ways to save money without making major changes to your lifestyle. Reduce debt as much as possible. Another good way to reduce spending during an economic crisis is to reduce your debt as much as possible. If you have credit card debt, try paying it off as quickly as you can so you can save on interest payments. If you have a mortgage or other loans, consider refinancing at a lower interest rate if possible. Reducing your overall debt can help ease financial strain and free up more money in your budget each month. Tips for living within your means. An economic crisis can be a difficult time for everyone, but especially for those who are struggling to make ends meet. One of the best ways to reduce spending during an economic crisis is to create a budget and stick to it. There are a few different ways to approach budgeting. One method is to track all of your spending for a month so you can see where your money is going. This can be done by keeping receipts or writing down every purchase you make. Once you have a clear picture of your spending patterns, you can start making changes. For example, if you find that you are spending too much on eating out, you can cut back by cooking at home more often. Or if you find that you are spending too much on entertainment, you can look for free or low-cost activities instead. The key is to find areas where you can cut back without sacrificing too much of your quality of life. Avoid using credit as much as possible. Another tip for living within your means during an economic crisis is to avoid using credit as much as possible. This can be difficult if you're already struggling with debt, but it is important to try to pay off your debts as quickly as possible. If you must use credit, try to only use it for essential expenses and pay off the balance each month so you don't accrue more debt. Live below your means. A third tip for living within your means during an economic crisis is to live below your means. This means spending less than you earn and saving the rest. It may seem difficult at first, but there are many ways to save money. For example, you could cook at home more often instead of eating out, or take public transportation instead of driving. You could also save money on entertainment by renting movies from Redbox instead of going out to the theater. By living below your means, you will have more money available to save or use in case of an emergency. Finally, in conclusion, it is important to reduce spending during an economic crisis in order to save money. There are several ways to do this, including cutting back on unnecessary expenses, finding cheaper alternatives for necessary expenses, and reducing debt as much as possible. Additionally, it is helpful to live within your means by making a budget and sticking to it, avoiding using credit as much as possible, and living below your means. By following these tips, you can help yourself financially during an economic crisis. Please subscribe for the next video. Thanks for watching.